All right, I'm on here with Brett Burky. He's one of the co-founders of Paperstac.com, which is a place to buy and sell mortgage notes. And he's going to walk us through a demo here today. Brett, thanks for doing this.
For sure. I appreciate the opportunity. So what we got here is the current site that we had launched in September.
Okay.
You can go there and see a lot of the notes that we have listed here. These are, a lot of them are seconds. This will all be different on the new site, but you can kind of use the, kind of slide in between what you're looking for.
Sure.
Sales price, all this stuff like that here. Want to see hardest hit fund states.
Oh, that's a good idea.
States. Yeah, so judicial states only, non-judicial states only. Okay, so yeah, then you can switch between occupied, vacant, unknown, metrics. All these different things are just ways you can look. So this is the actual live site. That's right. So What I wanted to show you was a demo of what's coming, because what we're doing it's pretty neat. So
cool.
We're trying to take the process, and anybody can go to it right now. It's just demo.dealstack.com. And you can kind of see what the transaction part will look like. The listing part will be similar. It'll be a lot more features, but this part's it's what we really try to focus the new stuff on. So you can see that I'm playing the role of Amy buyer and John seller.
Okay.
So as a buyer, I can go and look at this asset and say, I like that. That looks good. You can click to negotiate. I can say make a counter. Say 21.5. When I hit this, the seller will automatically get a to-do that will either pop up however they want to accept notifications. They can see, oh, wow, somebody wants to click to negotiate. What do I got here? Oh, Amy wants to bid on this asset, 21.5. I'll accept it. So they can accept that. And of course, the buyer will get, the buyer will get a to-do like, okay, maybe I should go do my due diligence. And then we will have a due diligence portal, which we are using, oh my gosh, they just pro title. Sorry, it slipped my mind.
Alex.
Alex, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So with Alex and Dicky, so we'll
we
be
have
able to go.
Actually an interview with Alex, and he goes in depth on title for notes, and they really have carved out a niche in notes in title, and they are the go-to firm for sure. So excellent choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got his book, so it's he's got a book out that just came out, which is pretty good. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So and so they'll be able to go do their due diligence through. We use their API service, and you can just click and order up the documents right here. It'll be here. It's not in the demo, and then so they can say, you know what, I like this. I'm going to approve the closing. At that part, the seller will get something that says, oh, you got another to do. Oh, I need to approve closing. So at this point, after I approve the closing, it'll turn green, meaning that nobody else can bid on this asset. So now, if you had already provided your vesting profiles and say your metadata, all this will be here, and you can change it. So someone might accidentally enter in the wrong vesting profiles. They can go back and always change this. But
what's a vesting profile?
The vesting profile is who they're accepting this doing business as. So if they're doing the business as, so this will be Amy Byers. So this is John Sellers, right? So this is all his information. So that's who he's going to use on his profile for this buying of this asset, or actually selling of this asset. So once he's provided that, he has one more to do, and he can go, what's my other to do? Okay, so if the buyer doesn't like what is seen in the collateral file, where's the return address go to? And that's all right here. And so after they hit that, seller can go relax for a second because he's got nothing else to do for now. The buyer looks over here and goes, I need to provide vesting profiles. Now, if it was their first time ever doing it, when they enter it into this, it'll save that automatically, and then it'll save to their drop down. So the next time they might be buying with different entities, maybe they have multiple LLCs or something, they can click the one they're buying from that, and it'll just automatically input that in there. And buyer provides the shipping address. So this could be also multiple locations. Maybe they're servicer, maybe they're sending it to someplace else.
This is for the files, hard copies.
Yeah, for the files. Mm-hmm. And then here we have it where you can sign the mortgage sale loan agreement. You can use your custom documents, or we've had lawyers design ours and stuff. So it's pretty well done. And so you can either type it or you can use the signature pad. And this is great because if you're out on the go, you just click it and that stuff's done. So now at this point, the buyer can know I'm good right now. I don't have to do anything else. The seller will know that they still have to do something, and they have to sign the MLSA. And that time they can do that. Click that, and they're good to go from now. And so at that point, the buyer will have another to-do that will pop up that they'll need to pay the buyer's invoice, or at least wire the funds to a holding account. At that point, they'll hit it, and we have created a third-party API through something called Wire Pledge, which it will alert the platform when funds have hit the bank accounts to be held.
Super
and so at that point, so once that's paid, the seller will get a notification. I'll say, okay, I see that the things have been wired. I will look over here and say, I will sign the allonge. They click, sign the allonge. And then at that point, the seller will need to get it notarized. So, but the thing is, with we don't use an outside notary. We use internal notary. That's an online notarization process where your webcam will pull up, a notary will pop up on the screen, say, ask your name, show us your license, ask if you owned a Toyota in the 90s. Those crazy banking questions they ask.
Sure, yeah.
And then they'll go over the documents with you, say, boom, they'll stamp it, and you'll get an online notarization of your allonge right there. So that'll all be done. And then the seller will have to print a shipping label. And this is first class shipping through FedEx. And if I click it, it won't go because this is a demo, but it will make a tracking number, which once it's printed, that tracking number will show up on the timeline. So the buyer and seller can see that this has all been generated. At that point, the buyer can look over and say, through the third-party auditing service, they'll have something they put up into the documents and files, and it will show that, yes, this is exactly what the seller said it is. Do you want to keep moving forward? And the buyer says, I'm good with what the seller said. Let's do it. So they say, let's sign this. They click submit. After they hit submit, the seller will say, okay, if the buyer's good, I'm good to go. So he clicks, they sign it. And then after that, what happens is that will automatically have a alert that what will happen is when we've had both those signed, the transaction from the collateral file, the people that are doing the third-party auditing will print another shipping label. Once that has a tracking number and it's changed from being processed to in transit by, we tap into FedEx's API, the funds will send and the collateral file will go to wherever they said they wanted it to go. At that point, they can look at their dues and see everything's green, and they've just closed an entire transaction completely digitally.
That is super cool, man. Very
Thanks.
clean. You got every part in there that there's like not, I've seen a few different things out there, like sort of kind of janky, UI, user interface. Not the case here. Very smooth, makes a ton of sense. I mean, I can see why, even if you've got processes in place and you've been doing business for a while, I can see why you would move here and pay the fee just to have things be so tight. Really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've taken it to some people, and some of the people that they buy and sell a lot, and they said this is more of an efficiency product than anything. This is saving. I thought it was a transaction. They're like, no, this is like something for doing transactions. They're like, this is an efficiency product. So if you can create, so we have the ability now. This new system's coming out to have teams. So certain people on your team will be able to do certain parts of the transaction. So it's not always just up to the buyer and just up to the seller. You can, determine who on your team is allowed to do what. And so there's different things like that we're adding. So the whole goal is to make it really simple. And then also too, when we add in the ability to take down pools, you could take down 2 or 500, and we're going to make these processes a lot faster. So you're not sitting down and signing off on hundreds of documents. You're just basically doing it, and you're able to duplicate different parts that are legally allowed to be duplicated, so that you're able to get through like an entire pool of assets in record time. So, and that's what we're bringing out next month. So this is the new iteration of what was currently here, and so this is this is the old. I mean, and I'm not saying the current transaction is bad. It's just, it's still really nice. You can send messages back and forth, and they go to the seller and the buyer, and you can see it here. So if I see now that just showed up on his timeline, so you can kind of see that this is a live transaction. So if I can say, I'm doing a webcast, this will show up any way that he wants it to show up. So, I mean, this is instantaneous that it's showing up, and you can purchase. This is where you purchase the documents. We have where you can. This will all be on the new system as well, and even more documents. So you'll be able to click this button, you add it, and it'll show up. Your card will be saved, so you don't have to enter that in every time. You click order, and the card expired. But I guess I haven't done one on the old system. This is the staging server, so this isn't actually live. But the live one's all so that you can move through the process and kind of do the same things that I was just showing you on the new one. But all the things that we're saying that were on the new one will be included on the all the stuff that's on the new one. Is some of it's on the old one, but it's going to be a lot smoother, cleaner of a process, as you can see from this to this. So it's going to be a different type of timeline. It just looks a lot better, and you can also see exactly when things are stamped. So you basically have a legal trail. We will store all this information for you in the cloud, and so that if you ever needed to have this, all you have to do is come back and you just can go through your transactions, and you can see every single one you've done, and you can go back and reference things if ever something happens.
Wow. Well, this is really, really cool, and I appreciate you taking it. It's slick. It's definitely, I've seen a lot of different platforms. This is definitely the best one that I've seen so far, and it's very comprehensive. And the way that you've tied in to the shipping and the signing and the notary and the escrow and everything, I mean, this really makes it a no-brainer. If you're somebody out there who's got one or more notes to sell, I don't know what you'd be doing if you're not trying this at least once. And I can even see a way that, at first when I saw this, I thought, all right, well, two-sided marketplace, that's going to take a little while to get going. You got to get all these, you got to get critical mass. You got to have, people visiting the site before it really starts working. But like you said, I really think this is something where I think it would make sense for a seller or a broker to use and bring their own buyers. And they should be maintaining their own email list anyway of buyers and investors, and they should be putting stuff up here so that they can manage things like this, especially if you're selling more than a couple of things at once, and you don't have systems in place for managing those transactions. There's so many places to drop the ball and have mistakes.
Very true.
And this really just seems like it can eliminate or at least greatly reduce a lot of that. Yeah,
it's an overall goal. Try to figure out a way to crack this code of making it work for everybody and making it streamlined. It's taken some time and a lot of back and forth, and definitely listen to what people have suggested. We're very open to a lot of things we'll say, and they're like, well, that won't work. Well, buyers always got to show proof of funds. Some people, we thought that was a great idea. Some sellers are like, well, that won't work because what if they're doing a JV deal? It's like, crap, I didn't think of that. So we've put everything from people that we highly respect in the industry. We're always reaching out to them and saying, what do you want to see? And so that this is we're not done yet. This is just this demo was created for Note Expo in November. So we haven't the stuff that's currently up is even cooler. So, but that won't be able to be seen until April. But it is hopefully the thing that people have been wanting for a while, and we hope to see a lot more people on it and using it and having success with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, Brett, and we're going to get this out to folks as soon as we can. And I just want to say, thanks again. Thanks for showing us this, and thanks for building this for the industry.
Oh, no. Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate you having us on. This is a great opportunity. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, make it a great day, Brett.
You too. Thanks.